So Spotify recently pulled the comedy albums of many big-time comedians, including, who's not a comedian, Joe Rogan's releases, as their royalty disputes intensifies. Man, I think it's a sign of the times. I think it's just a slight projection of what the future could hold in terms of these platforms and where people choose to put their content. What do you think about this?
Rogan has done comedy, by the way.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I guess he has many hats now.
Yeah,
but they just use him for the headline because he's
big guy.
Yeah, the big guy. We talked about this in other videos, but this is really along the same lines as our previous discussions. There needs to be a way for people to get paid for their art. They need to be able to price their art like they used to. And we were going through a transition period of moving everybody to online from CDs and cassettes, and we had to get them online and get them paid in a way. So, we went through the whole piracy thing where people were just ripping the songs off of these illegal websites and people weren't getting paid at all. So we had an emergency situation where it was kind of just like, all right, everybody just go to the streaming thing and we'll figure it out. We'll pay them this rate that we come up with and, try to keep our books straight and all that and raise this money and try to be profitable. But there's another disruptor that's happened. So the biggest disruptor since the invention of the internet is Web 3.0. And with that, but we will see a structure soon, kind of like we have seen with the NFTs, where people price their own art. And but with streaming, it's not going to be a secondary royalty rate. So with NFTs, you can set if you sell it once and the next person sells it, a secondary sale, you can have a smart contract that says I get 5% of those next sales. So streaming's not really going to have that. But what you can do is kind of push the ownership to all of your listeners via a token.
Yeah.
So people that like you, like if I like Joe Rogan, I watch a show, I can, and I listen to his comedy specials, I can say that, or he can say that he'll give 10% of his royalties to all of his token holders. That's big news.
Yeah.
And he can also set when these platforms come in place, he can set the streaming rate for listening to his comedy specials or watching his videos.
Yeah.
So the big players, the YouTubes, Spotify's, Amazon's, that will be a big disruptor. There hasn't been anything too different that these platforms have been doing. Like Napster's not really all that different from Tidal, not all that different from Spotify. The main difference between them now has been the user interface, like the experience you have on there. For instance, we used to do Apple Music promotion, and the user interface just was not good. It looked like Spotify. It looked like Apple Music just put out that platform to make a couple bucks, to be honest with you. There's no competitive advantage, really. They say they're going to pay you more. But then if you try to go look at your data and just seeing what playlists that you were placed on, there's no way to even see what playlists you were placed on if they're not a label-owned playlist for Apple Music. So it was not the friendliest thing for artists at all. But with these new ones and the focus on making sure that the creator has the power in this and that the fans actually have the power because they have ownership in something, that will be the disruptor. I've said previously, Spotify is not innovating how they should be. I think they'll still have a business because they've gone heavily into the podcast space, but whenever those contracts run out, unless they buy out, the chance they have for me, in my mind, is that they buy out one of these other companies.
Right.
And they have to be very strategic, because sometimes when people raise a bunch of money, they get very careless about their acquisition. So they make bad purchases and they overpay for stuff. I think Spotify has overpaid for exclusive rights to even Rogan.
Yeah.
Because I still like watching his stuff on YouTube, to be quite honest with you. I know I don't get the full podcast or whatever, but I like watching it on YouTube a little bit better.
Yeah.
They have to make not so much exclusive content acquisitions, but technology acquisitions.
Yeah.
If they don't do that within the next 5 years, not going to be good.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be a lot sooner than that.
Yep.
Probably within the next 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
But we'll see, man. You guys can go look at the chart for Spotify stock. That tells you people's, at least investors, like their feeling towards it. It has, let's look at their max. It came out in 2018. Only up about 65% over 4 years. And that's with that huge bull market we had and them printing all the money. It's kind of looking like a Twitter situation, if you ask me. So Twitter, since its inception for the stock, has gone up 3%. That's over 9 years.
Wow.
8 or 9 years. So just because somebody has a user base does not mean they know how to run a company and make it more profitable.
Yeah.
It could be deceiving, because if you're just like a user, you're just looking at it from the outside. You don't really know what's going on behind the closed doors. But Twitter, I would not put my money in Twitter at all. Like, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, because I can make an account on there, but as far as putting my money behind it, we don't spend any ad dollars there because their ads platform is trash. It's not good.
Wow.
It's not as good as Facebook. It's not as good as YouTube's. And Spotify, their ads, I'd say they're slightly better than Twitter's. Actually, it might be comparable. It's really not a competitive advantage to run your ads on Spotify. Yeah, you do a little bit of playlisting. We still advise you guys no more than 15%, 20% max for the playlisting. We probably get more orders than that, but we're telling you it's more advantageous to go with Instagram ads, TikTok ads. It's just better.
Yeah. And that's how you know we're not in it for the money.
No. Look, whenever one of the biggest things that I learned in the past year, whenever you can trade, whenever you know where money is flowing and you can trade it, you really don't, I'm not saying it to be crass or anything. You just really don't need any, you have no need to lie to people. The only reason somebody would lie is because they don't want you to know how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So they they tell you to go put all your money in this place rather than doing what they're doing themselves.
Right.
I'm not bullish on Spotify.
Yeah.
Use it for now because they got traffic. Use Twitter for now because they got traffic. But I see Twitter innovating more than Spotify right now.
Yeah.
Because Jack Dorsey was so big on crypto, he kind of got that into the organization, even though he's not CEO anymore, and he's doing his thing with Square, which is now Block, aka blockchain. But that was, Jack Dorsey was probably, and for his credit, I have heard that he was not really in agreement with a lot of the policies that Twitter has right now. He kind of lost control of it. Twitter's obviously very far leaning left. And I'm sure he does agree with some of it, but to the point of where they were going with all the cancelizations of so many people.
Yeah.
He's more of a free market guy, obviously. He likes decentralization more, which is why he likes cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
removing the power from the central hands of, hey, this person can say this person can't say that, regardless of the person.
Right.
I don't like the stuff that a bunch of people say on there.
Yeah.
But if it's odd, it was always very odd to me.
Yeah.
Like you allow like porn on your platform, like hardcore porn on your platform, not even soft stuff, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, this orange guy is the most dangerous thing to planet Earth. It does. Look, like it doesn't make sense to me. Like, look, I don't like half the stuff he says either, but we're gonna allow hardcore porn. There's a bunch of these teens on here, like,
it just don't add up.
No. So, yeah, I say all that to say, do your research this year.
Yeah.
Definitely be on the lookout. Like, change the websites that you frequent every day. 100%. I look at, just so you guys know, I look at Rally a whole lot more than social media at this point. I look at CoinMarketCap. I look at TD Ameritrade. That's where I'm watching these days. That's where you'll see where people actually, like, what they believe in, what they're doing. Like, if you go see on the news that they're talking about, oh, this variant, that variant. Not to say that you should pay attention to it to see if it's, potentially dangerous or whatever. But at the same time, you got to realize that they may be pumping and dumping a couple different stocks.
100%.
Not going to name which ones for YouTube centralization sake. But yeah, pay attention. Pay attention this year.
Yep, that's right.